Hey everybody, it's Jimmy and Bill. So, the weather's breaking, okay? The weather's been ridiculous in Florida. So you'll notice that, we were slacking a little bit on videos.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And it wasn't our choice, it was just because the weather was horrible. But anyways, we're back at it, and today what we're gonna talk about is why Florida could be the worst place to retire. A lot of people are talking about this. And there was an interesting article that came up, and basically the article is I'll link the original article below, but it's 13 reasons why Florida is the worst place to retire.
Yet it's the retirement state, or is it?
It's not the number one retirement state.
No, not anymore, for sure.
No, it's not. I think, Tennessee? I forgot. We did a video on that.
Yeah, we'll have to find it and link it.
Yeah, we'll link that one too. But anyways, if you like these kind of videos, do me a favor, consider subscribing. It really, really helps out the channel. So let's get right into it.
All right, first one, hurricanes.
Okay, what are they saying?
All right, so hurricanes are a threat to Florida, and we're prone to extreme weather, especially tropical storms and hurricanes. These storms can damage your property, cause major inconveniences. Hurricane season lasts for several months, so make sure you're prepared. All right,
so it's true, but hurricanes have been been the case in Florida since Florida was here.
Forever. So,
all right, do you think let's talk about this one. Do you think hurricanes are getting worse now that people are saying that, are you seeing more frequency of hurricanes and stronger hurricanes? Because environmentalists and people with the global heating up and all that stuff. I don't really follow all that stuff.
I don't know if I can say. I mean, there's no scientific data that I'm pulling off of here. This is just being a Floridian, a real Floridian, was born here, born on the coast in the Tampa Bay area. So I went to school across the street from the water. So I can't get too much closer to the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, because I don't know a lot about global warming,
Neither do I.
So,
we've always had hurricanes. And being in the, retired from the fire service, that was, obviously something that we trained on and paid attention to. And I just don't see, maybe it's just me, but I just don't see a crazy amount I just don't see an increase in hurricanes, really. I know we've had a couple hits, but we had hits in years past as well. We've had a lot of near misses. I feel like because of the insurance issues that we have and all of everything that's going on, I think it's just maybe more at the forefront when we do get a hurricane. And I still feel, and I know we've talked about this before, that the ease of access to data and information, on Facebook, YouTube, all these live streaming services, to follow this information makes you feel like it's more prevalent now.
All right, so let's go on to the next one.
We can talk on hurricanes all day.
Yeah. Other natural risks loom at large. Residents are well aware of hurricanes, but there are other natural risks that can affect your home in Florida. The state has plenty of low-level coastal areas that are prone to flooding. And there is also issues with sinkholes. Okay. Sinkholes, a lot of times, because when I do inspection, they're like, oh, this is a sinkhole house. And There was one little impression, and somebody came in and said, oh, it's a sinkhole, it's a sinkhole.
Right.
And of course they're going to say that because they're making money. It could be just an impression. I consider a sinkhole when something opens up and swallows a car.
Which we've had these things happen here, and they've happened in other states too. But sinkholes opening and swallowing houses, it's rare, but it does happen. But it's not just us. That's the thing. So, I just don't see as much happening with that lately. So there's only been 2 or 3 major sinkholes that I can think of in the last 25 years that off the top of my head.
All right, and flooding, okay? The reason why, and I said this in the insurance video that we did recently, The reason why people are getting flooded, and I personally think, I don't think the sea level is rising like everybody's talking about. Not to that point. They make it sound like Miami's going to be gone, Fort Lauderdale's going to be gone, Florida's going to be underwater, and for some reason I just don't see that. But what do I know?
Yeah,
but,
I don't know. I've been hearing that like since my early 20s.
But here's where I come in. Okay, they are building houses in areas that I could never imagine them building houses.
Exactly.
So, like barrier islands, we spoke about that.
Yep.
You know, it's there to protect the mainland. It's natural, some of them get split because of hurricanes.
Yep.
And now they're like, oh, that's beautiful. Let's build a house and let's insure it.
Right, and like you said, we just talked about that in our last
Yeah.
video. We're building houses on the coast, building, you know, slab on grade houses on the coast. Of course, what do you think is going to happen if you don't put a stem wall in and you get some, you know, waves coming in and some tidal surge? Of course, you're going to get flooded. And when I was growing up, there were not nearly as many properties on the beach and in the coast built out on our barrier islands. Those things just didn't have it. We didn't have it.
Yeah.
And now we do. So of course it's becoming more prevalent. The cost of building materials is through the roof, so it costs more to rebuild these things.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go because we have a few more to go through.
All right. So the next one is, which we just kind of touched on, housing's getting more expensive according to this article. So no shock there. In recent years, Florida's become one of the most popular destinations for people seeking to move. The trend has sent home values higher. The average home value in Florida is $391,000. According to real estate website Zillow. That compares the U.S. average, which is $346,000.
All right, so yeah, houses are getting more expensive,
Right.
but again, it's supply and demand.
Of course.
A lot of people are moving to Florida.
Right.
So in return, you know, a lot of people are coming in with, some people moving in here from California, New Jersey, New York, you know, all those areas. Them coming down here, dropping $500,000 on a house is nothing to them.
Right.
So, and that's driving.
Our prices up.
Yeah.
And we still have a lot of people moving into the state every single day. I guess there's people that are going out, but our in versus out, there's more in than out.
Yeah, so basically, you know, if you're planning to retire, this video is about 13 reasons. And one is, if you're coming from a state that prices are lower, it may not be the perfect place to retire because, you know, things are more expensive.
Yep.
It's not like it used to be.
Exactly. And then our next one is taxes may be higher than you think. And this is a very important one that people really miscalculate, I think.
I'll start it off and you explain why. So basically, people come down here and they're like, oh, I love that house. And they go to Zillow and they look at it and they say, the taxes are $2,100. I could afford that. But they say the people that bought the house originally, they're selling it, you know, they paid, say, $150,000 for the house. Now they're selling it because it's years later, they're selling it for $500,000. Explain what happens.
Right. So as it pertains to property taxes, when, like Jimmy said, you bought a house years ago, you homestead your house, you have the Save Your Homes here in Florida, where they can't increase your property taxes more than, I believe it's 3% year over year at any given time. So when you go to sell the house, when you look at these forward-facing, you know, sites, they're giving you the previous year's taxes. So when you purchase the house, the taxes are going to be on the new value. So your house gets assessed when you purchase, and then whatever the house is assessed at, so let's say $500,000 versus the $150,000, your taxes are going to be based on $500. Now, conversely, the same thing will happen for you. If you stay in a house for 20 years, that house could be worth $800,000 or $900,000, and your taxes are going to be based on the lower amount.
But at the same time, I don't, you know, I see people's taxes go from $2,300 from the previous owners to $10,000.
Yeah.
So be careful of that if you're coming here for retiring. The next one, I'm going to skip because I don't agree with it. You know, I just. All
Yeah, I agree with you there.
right, so we're gonna skip that one, even though it was the article. So if you want to read about the next one, go
Yeah.
to the link below.
So we're just going to go with a dozen now.
Okay, so the next one is your family probably isn't here in Florida.
Okay.
And, you know, basically, I won't even read what they're saying because I can explain it. Your family's probably not here, okay? And a lot of people are saying, I'm going to retire and I'm going to move to Florida. And a lot of them don't have family here.
Right.
They have friends.
Right, yeah.
You know, like my parents, you know, when they came down here, they had plenty of friends. You know, it's sad, but a lot of them passed on,
Right.
you know? But now I moved here after my parents, and my brother moved here, and then we have some more relatives that moved here. But some people, when they retire, they think it's great, but then they miss their grandkids, and they miss. This is one of the biggest reasons why people leave Florida. They leave Florida because they just can't handle missing family events, birthdays,
Right.
weddings, you know, stuff like that. Yes, they could travel, but as you get older, it's a little more
It gets
difficult.
harder and harder to travel.
They miss their grandkids.
Yeah, of course. You know, and then we get it. We do have a lot of snowbirds here. You know, they take the best of both worlds from north to south. You know, that makes sense. I mean, I would love to do that.
And everybody I spoke to that was retired that's moving back to Tennessee, wherever they came from, was like, yeah, we're gonna go move. We miss our kids. I mean, you know, we miss our grandkids, all that stuff. All right, go to the next one, Bill.
You might end up moving again. It's kind of what we were already talking about.
All right, what are they saying
But
about that?
many people in Florida view Florida as a paradise, but others who move to the state end up disappointed. In fact, many retirees from the northern states who relocate to Florida and decide they don't like it move up to North Carolina. The trend is so well established that people use the term halfback to refer to retirees who make such a move. So, in essence, people move here and they think it's a paradise because you're here on vacation.
Right.
You know, so you're doing all the fun stuff. You came at the fun times. You went to the beach. It's exciting. It's like you got your new car, you know, and you're all excited about it for a while. And then after the novelty of it wears off, some people just don't like it. And then all the things that they didn't mind necessarily while they were visiting for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, now start to become problematic because there's no escape for those things such as heat, bugs, whatever it is that you don't particularly like. So I think that adds to it. Plus, like what you said with the family stuff, people move back or snowbird.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Like when I moved here, I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna fish every day
Right.
and enjoy my boat. But hey, I'm working every day.
Yeah, we're working. It is what it
See
is.
if I remember how to drive a boat.
Right.
I remember how to drive a boat if I'm taking anybody out, by the way.
He's being sarcastic.
I'm being sarcastic. All right, the next one. You kind of touched on it too.
Yeah.
The beach can be boring. It may sound lovely to retire and sit on the beach all day, but as anything else, doing the same thing day after day can get boring.
All right, I have to dispute that one.
Okay.
I don't know if sitting on the beach could be construed as boring. I don't know if I could spend all day there, but
I hate the beach.
yeah. See,
see,
I'm different.
I can't stand the beach. I can't stand hanging out in the hot sun, sitting on sand. It's not me. On a
Got
boat.
across the street.
That's when I get hit by a car.
Yeah.
On a boat, floating out there, I could do it all day. Sitting on a beach, between these crowds that are down here,
Yeah. All right,
it's
so
not for me.
you got to find the local spots so you don't have to deal with
I
the
know the
crowds.
local spots,
Number
but-
one, but like, I get it. I see where you're going. Like, I'm totally with you in the fact that I think I would prefer to sit on my boat because there's activity and you can do things. You can change your view, right?
Yeah.
It's still, sand. It's still salt water. It's still hot, but you can change your view and instant air conditioning because you just get some movement going. So, I kind of see where you're going with that.
All right. So the next one kind of blends.
Too
into
much
this
fun in the sun is unhealthy.
It's true.
It is true. I get it.
Well, you get it firsthand.
I get it you're going to see when we have the summer, my new attire. I have to start covering my skin, according to the doctor. So
Yeah, and Tanya too, you know, she just, if there's too much sun,
yeah,
it's unhealthy.
yeah, and I don't have as much hair up here to protect myself anymore. So
So if you're retiring down here and you're planning to sit on the sun is not healthy. It's good for vitamin D, and that was one of the reasons I moved
Yeah.
down here, but it's overall baking in the sun every day, it's
Yeah.
not healthy.
you know, there's ways around
I'm not
it.
a doctor, but that's
Oh,
what
come on, it's not right. You
it's not.
don't have to be a doctor to know that that's not the healthiest thing in the whole world. But you know, even me, I cover up. There's ways to get around it. You know, I have performance clothes. Some people love them, some people hate them. But nonetheless, we just try to limit our exposure to the sun so that we can enjoy the weather out here in Florida, despite the cloud cover that we have today.
Yeah, I thought we had sun today for this video, but go ahead. What's the next one?
Roads are congested and expensive. I don't even need to read this.
Listen, I think Florida's the #1 state for toll roads.
We have toll, it's crazy. So urban legend, I don't know if there's any fact to this, but certain roads were supposed to be toll roads that we have here locally, and it was supposed to pay it off. The construction of it, that was the purpose of the toll road. And then somehow or another, it just kind of came into, the toll never went away.
No, it just increased in price.
Yeah, and it keeps increasing in price. They have made it a lot more convenient, and I do have to say that road is very nice compared to some of the other roads.
Yeah, I mean, if you go up to New York and Jersey and, you know,
Yeah,
I'm surprised all the cars are in the shop because just driving on those roads.
right.
They're
have to-
horrible. And yes, I could say that because I'm from New York and I remember freaking blowing out tires and
Right.
messing up my suspension and my alignment just by driving a car. Here, you're not going to have that.
Right, and
But we don't have snow and frost.
I didn't think that was a thing. Like, I always thought our roads were kind of you know, especially like our highways here local. But until I started really traveling a lot by vehicle, not by plane. And then I started noticing that some areas have really bad roads, and we're pretty blessed here with the way our roads are. But it does come at a cost.
All right, next one. You might end up more inside more than you think.
You might.
It's true. So basically, it gets hot, it gets humid, and if you're retiring here and you don't like hot and humid, don't come to Florida.
Yeah, unless you're on the water where you get some sea breeze. A lot of times, you know, the locals, myself, I try to get all my stuff done early in the morning because the sun comes up, I get up early, and I get out before it's super hot. I try to get back by, you know, like noon, 1 o'clock, and then I'm done for the day. I'm inside.
Yeah, and like I told you, during the summer, you notice I start inspections much earlier than I do now.
Yeah,
So now I'll sleep in a little bit, do them a little later, but to beat the traffic too.
yeah.
But
But
during
it's
the
just,
summer,
yeah, and
forget
our
about
days
it.
are so short now with the, you know, the time change
Here's
and
the
stuff.
biggest reason not to move to Florida for retirement. Go for it. You gonna read it?
Yep, Florida's cost of living might be higher than you think. According to the Missouri Economic Research and Information Center, the state had a cost of living index score of 101. In the third quarter of 2023, that puts Florida in the top half of all states when it comes to the cost of living. In the South, only Virginia is more expensive. So before retiring to Florida, make sure your nest egg is large enough to handle expenses, or be ready to look for ways to supplement your income.
So, if you're moving here from a place like California, New York,
Probably gonna be all right.
you're probably going to be okay. But don't expect to save money. Just come down here for money because it's not cheap to live here
No,
anymore.
it's not.
I don't care what anybody says, it's not.
No, and auto insurance is through the roof. So
Homeowners insurance, if you get it, is through the roof.
yeah, but I mean, just those little things, like, because other places have crazy insurance through the roof, you know, that's pretty much national now. But auto insurance is what I hear a lot with clients and friends. I've got a friend moving down to Florida now, who's relocating, and he's like, I just got the bill for his quote for auto insurance. He said it's insane, and service is more expensive here. He had some service done on his truck at the service center for just oil change, tire rotation. He paid almost double compared to what he's used to paying where he's from.
Well, it's not, it's not that they're like, well, you guys don't have an income tax, we have an income tax. Trust me, most likely your insurance cost
It all washes out.
for homeowners
Yeah.
and car insurance is going to equal to what you would be paying for income tax, state
Yeah.
income tax, if not more.
Yeah, just pencil it out and see what really the dollar for dollar is. Yes, I know, we don't have a state tax per se, but those other things do cost a lot more. So they're going to get their money one way or the other.
also, if you're coming from a state that's affordable now and you just want to get into warmer climate or whatever, it's going to be more expensive to live here than where you're coming from. So think about that one. But anyways, that's 12 reasons. We didn't go over all 13 because one of them I didn't agree with and I didn't want to talk about it. Check out the article below. Do me a favor, if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. Hit the bell notification and share this video. And we'll speak to you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Talk to you soon. Thanks.